Virginia Giuffre, heroine, opportunist, or both? The complicated legacy of Epstein's most vocal accuser. Virginia Giuffre's name has become inseparable from one of the most high-profile and disturbing criminal scandals in modern history, the Jeffrey Epstein sex trafficking case. Once heralded as a brave voice for countless victims, her story has since been dragged through intense scrutiny, legal settlements, and, tragically, a controversial and untimely death. But was she truly a fearless advocate who challenged the elite, or did her quest for justice blur into something more self-serving? A troubled beginning. Born as Virginia Roberts on August 9, 1983, in Sacramento, California, her early life was marked by instability. After moving to Palm Beach County, Florida, she fled an abusive home environment and found herself drifting through foster care and homelessness. She would later allege mistreatment by a family friend, an early trauma that set the stage for what was to come. At 14, she reunited with her father, who got her a job at Donald Trump's Mar-a-Lago club, where he worked as a maintenance man. It was there, in 2000, that she crossed paths with Ghislaine Maxwell, a British socialite and longtime associate of financier Jeffrey Epstein. What began as a job giving Epstein massages allegedly evolved into a dark web of sexual exploitation and trafficking. Giuffre claims she was flown to multiple Epstein properties and coerced into servicing not only Epstein but powerful men he introduced her to. One of those men, she said, was Prince Andrew. A now infamous photo of the three, Virginia, Ghislaine, and Andrew, emerged, fueling a firestorm of media coverage. Prince Andrew has consistently denied the accusations and questioned the authenticity of the photograph. Escape, marriage, and silence. At age 19, Virginia traveled to Thailand under the pretext of escorting another girl on Epstein's behalf. While there, she met and married Australian martial arts instructor Robert Giuffre within 10 days. She severed ties with Epstein and Maxwell, settling into a new life in Australia, quietly, and without any reports to law enforcement at the time. That changed in 2005, when a 14-year-old girl reported Epstein to Palm Beach authorities. As more victims came forward, a police raid uncovered numerous incriminating items, including handwritten notes with the names and numbers of underage girls. Epstein's arrest seemed imminent, yet he secured a shockingly lenient plea deal in 2008. In 2009, Virginia filed a civil suit against Epstein, resulting in a $500,000 settlement. This marked the beginning of her public reemergence, not only as a survivor, but as an advocate. From victim to public figure. By the 2010s, Virginia had become one of the most visible faces associated with the Epstein case. She gave interviews, participated in documentaries, and filed lawsuits, not just against Epstein and Maxwell, but also other high-profile individuals, including Prince Andrew and famed attorney Alan Dershowitz. Her 2021 lawsuit against Prince Andrew concluded with a £12 million settlement in 2022. Although Andrew did not admit guilt, the financial resolution and accompanying apology made headlines worldwide. Her case against Dershowitz, however, ended differently. Giuffre dropped her defamation suit in 2022, admitting she may have been mistaken in accusing him. That retraction raised uncomfortable questions. If she was wrong about Dershowitz, could she have been wrong about others? The fall, lies, legal trouble, and death. Virginia's later years were marked by increasingly erratic behavior. After returning to Australia in 2019, she settled in Ocean Reef, Western Australia. By 2025, her marriage to Robert had fallen apart. She alleged domestic abuse, while he claimed she was the aggressor. He obtained a restraining order against her. In February 2025, Virginia allegedly violated that order by sending him a text, an accusation she denied, calling it malicious. In March, she claimed she'd been in a devastating car crash involving a school bus traveling at 70 miles per hour. She posted on Instagram that her kidneys had failed and that she would be dead within days. But the story quickly unraveled. She had only been in a minor fender bender while a passenger in a slow-moving SUV. The bus had clipped their taillight. No one was injured. A spokesperson later claimed that Virginia's post was meant for her Facebook friends and that her alarming statements stemmed from complications related to a pre-existing medical condition. Critics, however, saw it as yet another instance of exaggeration or deception. Just weeks later, on April 25, 2025, Virginia Giuffre was found dead in her home near Gabby, Australia. Authorities ruled out foul play and deemed the death self-inflicted. Her lawyer, however, expressed doubts, raising the possibility of misadventure. The polarized legacy. So who was Virginia Giuffre, truly? To her supporters, she was a fearless survivor who dared to speak out against the untouchable elite. Her testimonies brought global awareness to Epstein's horrific crimes and gave countless victims the courage to come forward. The immense personal cost, mental, emotional, and eventually fatal, was the price she paid for seeking justice. To her detractors, however, Virginia was unreliable, dishonest, and willing to exploit her victimhood for fame and money. They point to her inconsistencies, the dropped lawsuit against Dershowitz, and her increasingly questionable public statements as evidence that her crusade was not entirely grounded in truth. And somewhere in between lies the gray area where most complicated legacies live. Virginia Giuffre was, without question, a victim of Epstein and Maxwell. But her later years raise unsettling questions about the influence of fame, trauma, and personal motivation. Whether her false statements were rooted in psychological damage or manipulation is something the world may never fully understand. One thing is clear: in attempting to hold monsters accountable, she became a lightning rod for controversy. Her life was defined by courage, but also by contradiction. She wanted justice. She wanted peace. In the end, she found neither.